Hey guys, what is up? Welcome to this is wrestling episode 4. Welcome. We have some big news to talk about. We got a few things to talk about. But first, we go to your Raw results for this week. Let's talk about Raw. We got us a little late. We had technical difficulties, but we are back. We are here. We are live on Speaker. Speaker with an R. Anyway, Raw. Now, this episode, you might not know, is called Genius Booking. And the reason this episode is called Genius Booking is because of Raw. Hashtag Raw. Raw was fantastic all the way through. They had prizes, we had the great idea of advertising what's going to be on next week so people come back. We got some great things set up. So, yeah, we had a promo at the beginning of Stephanie and Reigns, nobody did. So we had a promo for Brock Lesnar returning next week. So Lesnar's back next week. Following that, we got a fantastic match. Kevin Owens versus Neville. Now, I know they did this match last week, and it was a quick match. This time, they had a good match. Kevin Owens defeats Neville with a big powerbomb. And then they kind of try to destroy each other until Ambrose makes the save. Now, it's the same opponent, so I'm thinking, kind of want to do, and I'm hoping, Kevin Owens, Neville, Ambrose match at the Royal Rumble for the Intercontinental title. With the winner being. And the reason I say that is because there's a lot of top talent. Kevin Owens and Dean Ambrose have competed for the main title. And that's what they should be competing for. So get the title off of him, put it on Neville. He needs something in that match. And push Kevin Owens, push Dean Ambrose to the top of the card. Simple as that. Then we had a Titus O'Neil Stardust. Stardust is good. Then we got the showstopper, the show stealer, the match of the night. Becky Lynch versus Charlotte. Great. Another rebook is on SmackDown. I haven't watched SmackDown obviously, but I know the results. I'm not going to talk about them on here just so I don't spoil anything. They advertise this match ahead of time. Along with Dean Ambrose versus Kevin Owens first title match. Dean Ambrose. And after this match, by the way, afterwards, Charlotte destroys. So Ric Flair and Charlotte are heels now. So it looks like we're going to have Raw, main event of Raw, main event of the Rumble. No, not main event. At the Royal Rumble. Next up, we had Ryback versus Big Show. Nothing notable really happened in that match. Ryback defeats Big Show. Then the Wyatts come down and say, hey, we're going to be in the Royal Rumble. I assume Ryback's also going to be in the Rumble. And then we got a pretty good match, surprisingly, because I'm not really a big fan of Alberto Del Rio, but we got Rusev and Alberto Del Rio versus the Usos. And Rusev and Alberto Del Rio win with a vicious stomp. So that's cool. Then, and I think this is awesome, but Dolph Ziggler comes out. Dolph Ziggler's in the ring, and we hear, I'm a one-man band, and Heath Slater comes out. But he's not alone. He walks out with Curtis Axel, Bo Dallas, and Adam Rose. And they have dubbed themselves the Social Outcasts. Hashtag Social Outcasts. So this match happened. There was some distractions, but not really interference. They were just kind of, Curtis Axel, Bo Dallas and stuff. They were like, hey, Dolph, over here. And distracted him. And Heath Slater wins the match. Heath Slater defeats Dolph Ziggler. And then afterwards, they're all given a little bit of time on the mic. And according to K-Side News, who does a live blog every day, live blog, that'd be weird, live blog every Raw, they have stated it is one of the most outlandish promos you will ever see on a wrestling program, and I do not disagree. It was so weird, and so I'm gonna steal a mic and just say something that, for whatever reason, either if this was scripted, these four guys are four of the greatest wrestling actors I know, or the more likely scenario on this, because Vince was around and Vince likes to do what Vince wants to do, it looks like these guys were just handed the mic and told, after your match, just say stuff. Just say something. They were allowed to shoot from the hip, and they went off script. That's what it looks like has happened, because if someone wrote that, it was retarded. But these guys acted it well, and if nobody did write that, these guys were just saying retarded stuff. And that's probably more likely. And then later on in the night, they announced what I've already told you. Kevin Owens versus Dean Ambrose for the Intercontinental, and Becky Lynch versus Charlotte for the Divas. Then out comes the New Day for a match against Kalisto and the Dudley Boys. So we start saying, we're great. It's 2016. It's going to be a magical year. And they've got a present for us. So we get the countdown, big countdown. There's a unicorn thing on it. It starts 10, 9, 8. So we get down to 5, and it starts going. I can't do the theme. That's a little closer. Anyway, it got to break the walls down. Break down the walls. I kind of wish I would have had it on here. I could have just played it. But yeah, out comes Y2J. And he manages to get a chant of Rudy, Tooty, Booty. Yeah, it's weird. Then he shoots, cuts a little bit of a shoot promo and says, look, the television ratings, the network subscriptions, the house show attendance, they all need a shot in the arm, and I'm here to give it that. So, Y2J comes out, officially announcing his entrance into the Royal Rumble, and that the WWE will never, ever be the same again. So not only is he going to be in the Royal Rumble, he's since been advertised for Fastlane along with Brock Lesnar. So both Brock Lesnar and Chris Jericho will be at the Royal Rumble and will be at Fastlane. And then the New Day versus Kalisto and the Dudley Boys, with the winner being the New Day. With a double team finisher. I'm not sure what their double team finisher is called. And then we got the match of the evening, which is Sheamus versus Roman Reigns for the World Heavyweight Championship with special guest referee Vince McMahon. So, Vince takes a match as, you've seen these guys wrestle a lot lately. Vince is fast counting for Reigns and fast counting for Sheamus and not really counting for Reigns. Not a shocker there. So we have the match. There's the punch to Vince, as you would expect. There's a big spear. Vince doesn't do the pin. Someone else comes out, but he seems to be in the back pocket. Or so, I'm not sure, but he starts doing the pin. Vince stops him. Finally, John Cone comes out. Okay. Let's back off here for a second. Reigns takes a second broad kick. Sheamus covers. Vince doesn't count the pin because he's down and out. Scott Armstrong does the count. Reigns kicks out at 2. System has Armstrong driving up for third broad kick. Sheamus is trying to get the ref to pick him up. To pick up Reigns so he can go for another broad kick. Reigns gets out of it. And spears pretty much everyone. Spears Scott Armstrong, make sure Vince is down, spears Sheamus. John Cone comes out. 1, 2, 3. Roman Reigns retains. Vince is pissed. He punches John Cone, takes a mic, and to close out the show, he says Reigns has got no chance in hell because Reigns will be defending his title at the Royal Rumble in the Royal Rumble match. So the match will be the Royal Rumble for the title. Reigns is the current champion. So weird things could happen here. Very weird things. Now, we've since learned that looks like the original plan was going to be Roman Reigns versus John Cena because we needed somebody to make an interesting match. However, and we're going to, I guess, news. We're not going to headlines. I guess we're going to headlines. Yeah. Yeah. Let's do headlines. We'll do headlines. I'm calling it headlines. There's some extensive stuff to go over, but there's only really a couple headlines that we're going to talk about. Yeah. So, John Cena is injured. And it's a very bad shoulder injury. He's having surgery. And that's why he wasn't on Raw, and he only cut a promo on SmackDown. It looks like he got hurt on a house show. He's torn a rotator cuff, it looks like. And he will not be wrestling WrestleMania 32. He's out. He's done. So he just came back. He had one match. Now he's done again. 6 to 9 months. So that's a lot of star power that they've lost. And I just want to go through. This is a list here of the champions after WrestleMania 31. So when WrestleMania 31 went off the air, this was the list of champions. Seth Rollins, Daniel Bryan, John Cena, Nikki Bella, Cesaro, and Tyson Kidd. So Seth Rollins is the World Heavyweight Champion. Injured. Daniel Bryan, Intercontinental. Injured. John Cena, United States. Injured. Nikki Bella, Divas. Injured. Cesaro and Tyson Kidd for the tag team. Both injured. So it legitimately looks like... So it looks like none of these guys are going to work WrestleMania. So all of the people that were the champions when they walked out of WrestleMania will not work WrestleMania. With the possible exception of Nikki Bella and maybe Cesaro. I'm not sure how bad their injuries are. So, and that's not including the other injuries that we've had this year. I can't even... It's weird. I mean, they've been gone, so I haven't really thought about it. Stardust is injured. Was injured, so was Titus O'Neil. Darren Young's injured. One of the Usos was injured. Sting, nearly died. Jeez, I know there's more. I think Big E was injured for a little while. Randy Orton's out. There's been a lot. I think someone else just got injured, yesterday. Connor of the Ascension. He's injured. There's a lot of injuries. So something's got to happen. Something's got to be done. Which brings me to the next headline, because they're doing something. So for those of you familiar with NJPW, New Japan Pro Wrestling, they are really the second biggest wrestling company in the world. I know a lot of people like to think TNA is, but they're small. They just happen to be well known in the US and therefore in the UK and things like that. But New Japan Pro Wrestling is the second largest. It's the largest in Japan and possibly second largest. I know Japan is a very big market. If it was more out there in terms of exposure outside of Japan, because they do have a lot of money and things like that. If they were to do what WWE did 10 years ago, 15 years ago, they would probably be bigger than the WWE. That's just how New Japan are. So, And with New Japan and also with Ring of Honor, they had a group called the Bullet Club, and that was led by Finn Balor at the time, and quite a few other guys. Now, news is broken. Even WWE have had to comment on it, and they're not very happy they've had to comment on it, but they've had to comment on it because the news broke that AJ Styles, Shinsuke Nakamura, Carl Anderson, and Luke Gallows, all part of the Bullet Club, they're about one half of the Bullet Club, and from New Japan's Pro Wrestling, have all been signed by the WWE. And it looks like they're all going to be main event talent. They're not going to be part of NXT. They've all been signed. It's cost a lot. A couple of the guys are older. And there was a picture posted on Instagram last night, earlier today, of Finn Balor, who was the original leader of the Bullet Club, holding the door open to the Performance Center with a big sign saying WWE performers only, or personnel only, employees only, whatever. And he's just looking at his watch, and the comment underneath it that he put was, "They should have been here by now." Basically saying two things, like, oh, that they're late, that was kind of the joke in jest. But really he was saying, they should have been here like 10 years ago. Like, these guys should have already been in the WWE and been huge names. WWE were annoyed because they wanted them to be a surprise, probably for the Rumble. But these guys are big names in the indie scene. I'm hoping they get to keep their names. I think AJ Styles will, because he's the biggest name of them all. And they'll probably call up Finn Balor and they'll do this whole Balor Club thing. But what with all these injuries, they've basically gone, right, let's sign the 5 biggest names in indie wrestling right now. The biggest thing is the Bullet Club. Let's sign half the Bullet Club and just take them. And that way they can get some names. And it's kind of hurting independent wrestling now. They're cutting into that territory of, oh, now they might just get whoever they want, period. Like, oh, we don't really like this wrestling company. Let's sign all of their guys and then not do anything with them at all because we can. They could kill indie wrestling, and that would suck. I don't think they will, because it's Triple H that's in charge of it, and he kind of needs indie wrestling. And apparently it was a big blow to New Japan. They were not expecting this to happen. Really, they should have seen it coming, because WWE have recently just been like poaching talent from everybody. Anyway, we can go to some more news. These are just rumors of the day today. These are just rumors of the day. It appears that the reason that the Royal Rumble was booked with Roman Reigns defending the title in the match was due to John Cena's injury. I already told you about that. Triple H was the one that made the call for WWE.com to run the story on the situation with New Japan, and WWE were not happy. But since news had already gotten out, they just kind of said, alright. And it looks like Bad Luck Fale is also in negotiations with the WWE. He's also a member of the Bullet Club. Not as big a name, but he's also in negotiations. They might just be signing the entire Bullet Club. On top of that, the PW Insider also reports that they're in talks with Rocky Romero to be brought in as a trainer. And again, I said Connor was injured. And that is the headlines for the day. Headlines for today. Rumors for today. Everything for today. Yeah, so John Cena's out. Sucks to be John Cena. Hopefully he'll get better soon. But that's kind of where we're at with him. And as far as other news and things, I think it's time for how I want to book stuff. What Culture does a thing like this. I'm going to do one, I think, every week on the show at the last few minutes that we have. I'm going to take some time and we're going to rebook or book a superstar or show or something like that. So what I want to do is I want to book Kevin Owens. Now, bear in mind, I came up with this before John Cena's injury, before this weird Rumble stipulation. Before they started dealing with Neville. So this is where I wanted to go before I decided to change it and push Kevin Owens and Dean Ambrose to the main event. So what I would like to happen at the Royal Rumble is we have Dean Ambrose versus excuse me, versus Kevin Owens at the Royal Rumble against each other, obviously, for the Intercontinental title, and Dean Ambrose wins it back. Kevin Owens wins it back. So Kevin Owens has the title now. He's won it. He's in the Rumble as well, but he just kind of gets eliminated. They just needed to make up some numbers. So that could be an excuse as to why he didn't win the Rumble later on Raw, when he obviously says, oh, you didn't win the Rumble or whatever. He says, hey, I already was tired from this match. I won this title. Then he starts arguing. He says, hey, I never finished what I set out to do. And that was to destroy John Cena. Again, I made these decisions before John Cena was injured. He says, I wanted to destroy John Cena. I beat him in my very first match. But I never beat him in a title match. So I want to fight him one last time to show that I can be the man. Because I am the man. I'm going to destroy your man. I'm going to destroy everything you guys wanted. You say never give up. I say make him give up. So I'm going to challenge John Cena. Now, let me just go back to what I just said. I said, he always says, oh, never give up. I'm going to make him give up. He says, never quit. I'm going to make him quit. So he challenges John Cena to an I Quit match. And everyone goes, oh, John Cena's going to win. Because he's never lost an I Quit match. And what happens? Right there in the middle of the ring after a brutal match, Kevin Owens gets John Cena to say, I quit. And the crowd lose it. So not only has he beaten John Cena clean once before, he's made John Cena say, I quit. And the next night on Raw, comes out, says, look, I've beaten John Cena. I'm the only man to ever make him quit. The only man to make him tap out, basically, even though I think he's tapped out. But he's the only man to make him quit. I'm now here. I'm now the champ. I'm here. I'm the champ. I'm here. And then he goes too far. I'm the next big thing. And as he says that, you hear I can't do theme music unless there's lyrics to it. You hear Brock Lesnar's theme music. And out comes Paul Heyman. He says, excuse me, Kevin Owens, Mr. Owens. What do you mean you're the next big thing? Because we already have the next big thing. And he is the big thing. My client, Brock Lesnar. Kevin Owens looks. You say Brock Lesnar is the next big thing, or he is the big thing. He's the beast incarnate. Right now, he's not here. So I'm the big dog. I'm the big thing round here. I'm the conqueror. I've conquered John Cena. Paul Heyman goes, you know who else has conquered John Cena on more than one occasion? The Beast. He's conquered The Undertaker at WrestleMania. He ended The Undertaker's streak at WrestleMania. Kevin Owens goes, well, there's one streak he hasn't ended. And that's mine. And as we go on through the weeks, it's clear that WrestleMania, Brock Lesnar versus Kevin Owens for the Intercontinental title. We get there. Match is going. Lesnar's doing his thing. Suplex, suplex, suplex. Huge F5. Goes for the pin. 1, 2. Owens kicks out. Go back and forth. They start exchanging blows. Owens does a rolling senton, does his jumping landy thing. I don't know what that was called. Brock starts pulling back, goes for another German. Totally throws off Kevin Owens. Boom. F5. 1, 2. Owens kicks out. The match continues. Then Lesnar goes for another German. Out of nowhere, Kevin Owens reverses, pushes him against the ropes, and boom. Pop-up powerbomb. 1, 2. Lesnar kicks out. Owens can't believe it. He climbs up to the top rope. Goes for his moonsault. As he goes for it, Lesnar gets to his feet. Owens has got his back turned. He goes for the moonsault. Caught by Lesnar. A third F5. Heyman's on the outside. That's what put Taker away. That's what's gonna put you away. Commentators, a third F5. I don't believe it. No one's ever kicked out of a third F5. And Lesnar goes for the pin. 1. And Kevin Owens kicks out at 1 on the third F5. And Lesnar is shocked. Kevin Owens sits up. Kind of gives him that little bit of an Undertaker sit up and look thing. He just goes, "It's my time. I'm the next big thing." And he starts going to town on Lesnar. He gives him a German you wouldn't believe. He just keeps going. He hits him with a pop-up powerbomb. Picks him up. Yeah, doesn't go for the pin. Picks him up. And then he says, he picks him up, gives him the pop-up powerbomb. He's on the ground. He looks at him and he goes, "I'm going to conquer you with your own move." Or something like that. I don't know. They could probably say it better. But he picks him up. F5 to Brock Lesnar. 1, 2, 3. Clean. And here is your winner and still Intercontinental Champion, Kevin Owens. And the match ends. Owens and Lesnar are staring each other down in the center of the ring. They're looking at each other, they're sizing each other up. Rough match. They're both tired. Paul Heyman gets in there and he goes, whoa, guys. He doesn't want this to continue. Obviously, they're both bleeding at this point. Lesnar puts out his hand. Owens looks. He looks at Heyman. He looks at Lesnar's hand. And he shakes it. And as they're in the ring shaking hands, Lesnar looks at him. And he just says, "This ain't over." Kevin Owens looks at Paul Heyman and goes, he looks at Paul Heyman, he looks back at Brock Lesnar and says, "I don't want it to be." And walks off. And that is how I would book Kevin Owens. Obviously I can't because John Cena is injured, so let's just have him beat somebody else. We could still do this. He could beat Sheamus? Dean Ambrose? No, again? Roman Reigns maybe, if he doesn't have the title. No, actually, I know where we can go with this. At Fastlane, instead of it being him against John Cena, it can be him against Y2J. He's already advertised. Why not? He's fought Y2J once before. This could be a good match. There we go. There. I fixed it. We could still do this. And let's be honest. Lesnar Owens would be amazing. And that's how I would book Kevin Owens. Thanks so much, guys, for listening. Almost said watching. Follow me on Twitter at Edible Monks. We can chat during the show. And once again, thanks for tuning in. I'll see you.